Hello, my name is Pappus, and today I will teach you everything you need to know to stop a running car as a Jason. I will also weave in a couple of, information giblets for counselors, since, it's always a fiesta when people try to get into the car and they manage, and randoms usually get everything done the worst way possible. That said, here we go. So how is a running car stopped? Two ways only. The car is only broken if it drives into, and I can't underline it enough, I could have underlined it until here, into Jason. Not Jason walks into the car, but the car goes into Jason. Alright? It doesn't matter if you're shifting or standing. All it matters is that the car bumps into Jason. If the car has no movement, the only way to break it is to go to the front and smash it by pressing E, which usually happens one or two ways. The car has just started and now all the ducklings try to enter, forcibly making the car stand for what feels an eternity, and Jason just breaks it. Or if the car is basically trying to reverse. There's also, of course, some people that like to mind game that when you shift at the car that they will stand still, then you will have to make it go at the front manually. I know, it's hard to believe that something so elegant could stand for a car, right? So this are cars, and now we take two examples. Let's say the car moves this way. It doesn't really matter if we call this forward or backward because the principle is the same. Then you will need to be here. It doesn't matter if you start shifting here to get into that position or if you decide to drop in via plane. All it matters is that you block its momentum. If we call this backwards, then you will simply have to go here. It's all there is to it. Now, what do we do when we have a car without any motion? Oh, wait, one more thing. Do not manually end your shift. You don't go into this position and then abruptly end your shift because the driver, could see it coming, stop, and then start reversing, and then you would be out of shift like a little duckling. No, 100% unable to stop the moving car. If it bumps into you, it will shift. It will end your shift in case it's a frontal bump, then you will straight go into the animation. If it bumps while reversing into you, then you will still be in shift and can immediately go for the driver's seat into a quick choke. Okay? So do not manually end your shift. Now what do we do when some smartass thinks he doesn't need to, move around? Then you have two choices. And it starts with, first, of course, these guys, he will be driving, for example, that way. Of course, you try to block it. Now he stops the car or he is reversing. You don't know at this point. That means, let's say he's going this way. You overtake it. He then stops moving. As he stops moving, you instantly go for the back because that is the most likely thing that he's going to do. He's going to start going into the opposite direction, usually reverse. If he does that just 1 millimeter, the car is broken. If he does then not comply, you then go back, still in shift, and either take him out of the driver's seat or go to the front, end your shift, and mash E as if your life depends on it. So if the driver is solo, it's okay, just go and grab him out. Otherwise, go for the E smash frontally. If you have trouble, if you're not fast enough, if there's ping issues, and the driver manages to reverse the car away from you as you come out of shift, then your best bet is to stay reversed, come out of shift, and then he will bump out of you into you because, of course, you're bound to go for you can only stop it at the front, so he will think when you come out of shift, then it will be at the front while he's still under the effect of the VHS distortion. He already has to move, he can't wait, so he would reverse, hit you in the rear, and then it's time to asphyxiate. Alright, quickly, some little things. You can drag out the driver from the other side. What does that mean? Well, what you will see these days happening a lot is someone throwing down a cracker on the driver's side of the car in an attempt to start the car safely. That is not safe. Please don't be that Jason that just stands there and let them start the car. No, 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 no. You go to the opposite side where there is no cracker and you just asphyxiate his ass out. Same thing, you could throw throwing knives, or you could swing at the car. Not in case of firecrackers, but of course, like before the patch, I didn't test it now. It could be wrong, but I don't think that they changed it. You can swing at the driver and that, or keep throwing knives. It doesn't deal damage, but it will keep resetting the car start. You know, in case you need to wait a bit for your shift to come back on cooldown. If you want to break a couple of more weapons, that's something you can do. And as long as the driver holds forward or backward, like V or S, you can't grab out of the running car. It doesn't matter if the car is actually moving. You know, as long as the car is running and the driver is holding forward, the game thinks it's moving, therefore not allowing you to grab anyone out. That means, yes, if a driver decides to put the front up a wall and gently drive into it, there's nothing you can do about it. Except, you know, angrily shout, "I'm gonna report ya!" Or just accept how it is. They have won. So, what is your best bet, even against the best drivers, to stop the car forcibly? Well, step number one, you get angry. How dare they start the car on you? These little bitches. They're all getting asphyxiated. You know, maybe you even drag some to a stump just to asphyxiate them anyhow. First thing. So, car ambush. When your morph and shift is ready and not before, you morph far ahead. Ideally, you want to morph to a spot where you know there is a building to prevent any shenanigans with the minimap. You don't want to be spotted if you can avoid it. And that you will not be spotted if you morph behind a house. Nobody will have you on the radar except if they are behind the house. Okay? Like, if there is no line of sight obstruction. Then you activate sense, stalk, and shift and go for the ram. They will not usually not see it coming because you're far away. They will just maybe have like half a second, and then you go for the front or the rear, whatever motion the car is currently in. If it's the front, well, sometimes it might fail because it's really high speed action. And there's that's a car ambush, best done far from far away. And then, of course, then you start, you know, working their weapons. Don't like instantly grab the driver, because the only thing that is gonna happen is you grab the driver, someone gets out, stuns you, and the car is starting again. Try to, you know, wait a bit, try to block more hits, try to get their weapons to work, like wear them down. When they don't have any weapons anymore, they're all free chokes. And also remember, if someone is just pocket knifing you, if the driver is pocket knifing you instantly, then nobody needs to get out of the car. It's enough time to restart the car. Keep that in mind, you know, like turn him around instantly, try to block the door, don't let him in. He can always go in, but you know, if you gain like 1 or 2 seconds, that's valuable time he loses, maybe enough to disencourage him from even trying to start the car. You'll win. Okay, and meanwhile, your shift and your move are all recharging. It's a battle for time. Worst case, you know, at the very least, just slap him from the outside, waiting for your cooldowns to come back so that the car is not starting, and you can instantly go into another ambush. Of course, that doesn't help a lot, but you know, that's the idea behind it. Maybe as a last little thing, your preference should always be like it can't be avoided. The car, you know, against proficient counselors will be started many times in a row, but what you can somewhat influence is whether the car will immediately be able to go forward or not. If it's immediately able to go forward, you might be, you know, forced into a long range ambush again, which is not optimal because it can go wrong. Make the car, like, if you can, try to make the car go backwards. That way all you have to do is immediately attack with shift after the stun has ended. You know, that keeps it all relatively close to each other, less room for failure. Now, let's see how counselors can prevent all of this. Perfect start card sequence. So, battery is put in, fuel is put in now. Nobody else except the guy with the key can enter the car. How is it done? Start the car, nobody else even tries to go in. Like, no, oh, I can mash E now. No, you start the car and you start wiggling. Nobody else goes in. Let Jason break the car. Why would you let him break the car? Because on your second restart of the car, everybody can go into the car as you started, as opposed to locking down the car after the fact. Use that easy animation for an even easier start. flare gun, baseball bat, whatever. It is absolutely known to everyone exactly what he will do. He will go to the front, he will crash it. He can't do anything while that happens. Take your bat, give him a slam. Driver knows this. Never left the car, restart the car while everyone now is going in. And of course, let your thoughts of the easiness of the current operation be known. Just contemplate. How easy is it? Was Jason even there? I don't know. Is he even trying? Who knows? We're not trying. Now, let's say the car is ambushed in the open. What is best done? Now, first rule of car is protect the driver. Ideally, the driver doesn't even try to get out of the car. It's crashed, he already starts to restart the car immediately. Don't, but never, that is actually before, don't enter the car without a melee weapon. Just fuck off with flare guns and shit. That only has one charge. After that, you're weaponless useless. Except maybe as a driver, you're useful then. And then the driver constantly threatens to restart. The car is broken. He's already igniting the car back on. Jason is basically now forced to either grab him out or, well, swing at him all the time to keep it low. But that's never gonna happen, so he's gonna grab him out. Now, someone with a melee weapon. All he has to do, is stand next to Jason, give him a dong, now enters the car easily and instantly and starts restarting the car. Like, the car threaten forces Jason to grab. Then the sequence is stun, restart, and everyone gets instantly in when the stun is done. Don't be that guy, that manages to fuck the car up because he decided to enter the car just moments before the car can drive, because moments before the car can drive is usually exactly the time where Jason comes out of the stun. It's always, tight, unless it's a Tommy that gives him the stun of doom. It's always tight. So if you're late to enter the car, do not enter the car anymore. You're out. That's the brotherhood of the car. Do not threaten the car or there's no space for you anymore. I wish it's true. Just as well as I do. There will be the guy again that watches the stun happen for 6 seconds, waits for 99% of the car to be restarted, then runs around, then enters the car to just make it all twice as long. And remember, luck does affect the car start time now. So if it's a question if AJ or Chad should start the car, Chad is twice as fast as AJ now, without any perks. Remember, Grease Monkey is still not functional. It makes your car starting actually make longer instead of shorter. It's inbound to be fixed, but right now Grease Monkey is the challenge perk. Can I still start the car although I am using Grease Monkey? Alright, I think we can keep it at this. Time for the outro.